the burning flame. Our voices rise in freedom's name. Together we stand, no chains can bind. The liberty song in heart and mind. Raise the flag, let it fly so high. Under the stars we'll touch the sky. Crush the dark with the blazing cry. Freedom rings this 4th of July. From mountain peaks to the ocean shore, we stand as one forevermore. The wind it carries our anthem's might through every valley into the night. Raise the flag, let it fly so high. Under the stars we'll touch the sky. Crush the dark with the blazing cry. Freedom rings this 4th of July. Through blood and tears our path was paved. A nation born, the brave engraved. We'll guard this gift with hearts of steel. Our independence strong and real. Raise the flag, let it fly so high. Under the stars we'll touch the sky. Crush the dark with the blazing cry. Freedom rings this 4th of July.
We still have the B-47 jet bomber, probably our best known. Capable of delivering nuclear weapons from the perimeter of our defensive line.
The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's Friday night and we're all in.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, damn, ain't that fabulous. Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy. Don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy. Don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this, the 4th of July. It's special for All In.
Happy Independence Day to all of our American cousins. You did the right thing breaking away from the empire, by the way.
Goddamn fly here. Right, I wanted to say a little something before I start. I don't know if you saw the intro. I made that this evening. Fucking fly. Anyway, I made that this evening, and I thought it was quite nice. And then I thought, I'm quite hard sometimes on soldiers, sailors, servicemen in general, police, nurses. Anybody really that does anything that's not really going to make them a lot of money. Because let's be honest, people join the services to make money. They didn't become a nurse in the NHS to make money. You don't become a cop to make money. You join because it's a vocation. And you actually probably, in 99.9% of the times, go in there to help people, to serve, And I think sometimes after you've done your bit and you're old and cynical and you realise you've been taken for a ride, you look at these people and you think you're stupid, but so was I. And so was everybody else that looks back at them. And I think, you've got to cut people some slack because life is all about learning and that's how it starts. And sometimes without these people, we wouldn't have the life and the luxuries that we have right now. So thank you. If you have served in whatever way, thank you. I genuinely mean it. So with that...
I would like to add my voice to that thanks as well, because I think that particularly people who choose to put themselves in harm's way for not a lot of money on behalf of the group, the ones that I have absolutely no problem with anyone who serves. The people that I have a problem with are the donkeys who send brave men and women into pointless bloody slaughterhouse wars to protect big business or whoever. And I'm sure that's not why people join the forces or join the police or whatever. They don't intend to become tools of the machine, and it's the way the machine uses them, chews them up and spits them out. I think it's abhorrent.
Well, there you go. So with that, let's get on with this show because, again, it's been one hell of a week. And you think, it's a short week because America kind of shuts down, but bloody hell, they don't hang
There's no
back,
such thing as a short week. Each day is, in terms of what's happening in the world, we seem to get more stuff happening.
We do.
Per day. And that just adds up. It's happening everywhere too.
Indeed it is, mate. Indeed it is. So let's kick off. So it looks like Trump's been listening to us. I might be picking it up wrong, but it sounds like he's been listening to us because they've kind of said they're not sending any Patriots to Ukraine. They're not sending any 105mm ammo to Ukraine. Yes!
There's loads of stuff. I mean, even
I got
even
that.
small arms, and I mean, I think it's just a general like stop or pause. I think I would imagine that Zelensky is probably on the phone begging a lot and
Yeah.
probably acting really pathetic. But it's important to note that this is the first time the US has ever run out of weapons in a proxy war.
Mhm.
I mean, in Vietnam, they ran out of money and they had to come off the gold standard and do all sorts of machinations because they hit the limits of their economic power.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now is the United States hitting the limits of its military power
No.
and its industrial
Yeah.
power.
Well, apparently, I mean, if you think about it, Lockheed Martin, they make 550 Patriot missiles a year, right? And I don't think they've ramped up production. So if they're making 550 a year, and for every one missile that incoming, you've got to fire at least 2 or 3 Patriots to guarantee a hit. So you rip through them at some rate, because when Russia sends 1,000 drones over or whatever they did, your Patriot stocks are just going.
And Israel's using them up as well.
Yeah, they do.
But also, I heard today from Alexander Mercouris that there are certain types of, like, particularly new Patriot systems, which the Americans, because I mean, obviously they've seen the Russians' hypersonic missiles, and so they've been flat out trying to figure out a counter, and they don't want to give Ukraine their newest missiles because they don't want the Russians to know what the capabilities are. So that's quite interesting in itself. But I mean, fighting a war on 2 fronts is just not going to work.
No, it doesn't, and it just shows you that America is a superpower, but even it has its limitations, and it's different when you're fighting a war on the ground, thousands of miles from your base, and that's basically what Ukraine is. Because America doesn't have the luxury of having the ability to use their superiority to pummel Russia, because I'll be honest, I think Russia's air defense systems have the edge on America's at this moment in time. And I think
Russia's probably got the best air defense system on the planet at this point.
Yeah. I think if they tried it, they might come off with a bloody nose. But that's not what you want to hear on Independence Day. But then again,
no, of course not. But I think also the public announcement from the Pentagon, and another of the interesting things I heard related to that cessation of sending weapons to Ukraine, was that actually that message was less intended for the Ukrainians and Europeans and people, and it was more intended internally. That was the Pentagon sending a message to all of the senators like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and all these warmongering idiots on Capitol Hill that there are limits, and those senators, people like Lindsey Graham, wouldn't accept any kind of. I mean, they probably think that you can pull F-35s out of a bloody hat or something.
Yeah, well, there's more than them. Because
one of those hats.
I had an argument with a guy earlier in the week on Twitter about F-35s, because he said we'd just got 12 F-35As, and I said, no, we don't. We've ordered 12 F-35As, because F-35As are the ones that can carry nukes. And the ones we've got can't, because they've got that lift engine, so they don't have space for them. But he says, but we'll get them quickly. And I goes, no, we won't. Because we're quite far down the line in the queue. And at the rate they're making F-35As, which are really in demand, we're not getting them until 2030 to 2032. So, we're not getting special treatment because we're Britain. Oh, there's another fly in here.
But why would we get special treatment when they fought a war of independence against us?
Well, actually, let's talk about the war of independence just briefly, right? Because if you kind of take what Trump's implemented in the last few months and go back, and we've got to play fast and loose here, but let's say that if you're an American colony of Britain, then you're considered a natural-born American, right? Well, 2 of the founding fathers would have been deported. Because one of them wasn't even born in America. He was born in Nevis, which is a British colony in the Caribbean. And his dad was Scottish. And then the next guy is Benjamin Franklin, whose parent was born in England from Northamptonshire, I believe. So he would have been deported as well. So 2 of your founding fathers wouldn't classify for what would you call it? Citizenship these days. There you go. Right.
It's also worth bearing in mind what happened to the people who signed the Declaration of Independence. I mean, a bunch of them were killed in the Revolutionary War. A load of them went broke. Some of them were arrested along with their families and stuff. There's, I think, 56 people who signed the Declaration of Independence. And it didn't end very well for most of them.
No, it didn't. Traitors. Anyway, right. Moving on. Let's say hello to the chat room. Nectaridas, Shalini, Militant Mushroom, Joey C, Dread Eye, Hachi, Ray, good grief, David Nolan, the Yorkshire Lad, hey up, the Yorkshire Lad, Emma Watts, hello darling, Hachi, I think I've said that already. Who else have we missing? Vicky Humble, hi Vicky, haven't seen you for ages. Good to see you back. Darren Kenton, Twitter buddy, I think. Ray, I've said. Who else we got? Who have I missed? John. We're both wrong. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think Bibby does. The Iron Dome's more like the Iron Colander, John. There we go. Have you seen the state of Tel Aviv? Anyway, let's move on. And Vaughn. Right, moving on. Americans paid 8.25% sales tax on fireworks to celebrate winning a war over 2% tax on tea. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose and it misses the point of the whole thing, doesn't it?
And if you look at the state of Washington, D.C. and the US government, the only people that really have representation, because there's no taxation without representation, the only ones that really have representation are Israelis, not even Americans.
Yeah, okay, let's not get into that already. Anyway, NATO acquires advanced AI-enabled warfighting system from American company Palantir Technologies. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
Seriously, these people that don't spend enough time watching dystopian end-of-the-world movies. Seriously, and Palantir.
Yeah, I know. Terminator.
I mean,
that's all you say.
But this is probably along the lines of the stuff that was supplied to the Israelis, like what is it called, Lavender and Where's Daddy? Those particularly nice AI systems that are used for targeting people.
Yeah. This is annoying. I don't like flies. Ray says Skynet. Skynet's the UK satellite system, military satellite system. That's called Skynet. So we've already got Skynet, mate. Right, moving on. The EU warns of retaliation if US trade deal is not reached. Yeah, okay. What's the EU going to do to America?
Not very much. The EU is busy deindustrializing itself, and Frau von der Leyen is facing a vote of no confidence in the European Parliament, which she really deserves to lose.
Well, that's the next thing I was going to bring up.
I mean, the Europeans, they're vassals. Simple. Europe, UK, they're all vassals of the United States. Trump says jump, and von der Leyen says how high. Simple as. All the protestations to the contrary, all of this trying to make themselves out all big and bad. They are shitting themselves that the US is going to pull out of NATO. Simple.
Yep, you're right. I think, and to be honest, the sooner that happens, the better. I mean, it will solve the problem with Ukraine because Europe can't sustain what's going on. America's already stopped supplying, so it's going to grind to a halt quicker rather than sooner, which is a good thing for the people that are dying there on both sides. Trust me, that's a good thing. What your politics are about the rest of the whole thing, it doesn't matter, because at least people won't be dying, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they're so keen to keep a war going that is completely being lost. Only complete idiots don't think that you don't think that the Russians are winning in Ukraine. And every single day that they don't negotiate peace or talk to the Russians, Ukraine gets smaller and gets less significant.
Well, yeah, and see, this is the thing I don't understand, because Rutte, or whatever his name is.
Rutte, good luck, yeah.
Yeah, Rutte. He had a speech the other day, and he said that Ukraine was winning, but Europe's next. You know, so that's a kind of mixed message. Yeah,
it's nonsense, because every single Russian official that's ever mentioned it or discussed it says, A, we don't have any plans to, B, why the hell would we want to, and C, what has Europe got to offer us apart from gigantic problems?
Yeah.
I mean, this notion that Russia's going to come for the rest of Europe after they've finished in Ukraine, it's just propaganda nonsense. I can't take anyone seriously who has that view, because it's not a serious argument.
They might come for the Balkans if the Balkans keep misbehaving, though. Right, where was I? Vicky says they will just start a war elsewhere. Yes, they will, because war's money, war's life. Hatchie says, what's happened to Trump's invitation to meet King Chucky? Is it still on? Well, you probably find that he's not bothered that much, because he said he was coming up to where are all these flights coming from? This is not on. That's like another 2 have appeared, but they're wee teeny flies. They're really annoying. This is not good. Something's happened.
Well, like midges.
Yeah, like midges, exactly. What am I doing with midges in my premises? Right, New York City. It's a classic. Ann Arbor restaurant says ICE agents came in, ate breakfast, and detained 3 workers. You got to laugh at that one. You really do.
Yeah, they're kind of. I mean, those ICE people they're kind of taking the piss a little bit somehow. I mean, ultimately, if you're not in a country legally, then
have you seen?
Well, no, if you're not in a country legally, you should get chucked out.
Yeah. Have you seen that one about the American soldier who was a Jamaican, but he served for like 18 years in the US military, but most of it's been in Germany. And then he goes, then they go, well, he's getting deported, and everybody's up in arms about it. But it turns out his deportment was first authorized under Obama. So, what the hell? People just make up shit. It's like the boat thing. The French police have slashed a boat, and that's them actually starting to do their job. But nobody tells you that video is from 2024. In fact, we covered that on this show last year. That was first shown on the BBC in July 2024. So they haven't done anything new. It's not news. It's just people clicking on stuff for likes. It's really, really annoying, in fact. It just pisses me off. And all these people are going, oh, look, news. And it's like breaking news. And it's not. It's just people jumping on a bandwagon of bullshit. That's all it is.
Yeah. And in the social media age, people have the attention span and recollection of gnats. So
as soon as I saw the video, I thought, hold on, I've seen that before. And then all you need to do is look at the metadata, and it says 2024 on it, July 2024. Ridiculous. Sorry. Right.
All right. Moving
on. Microsoft just laid off 2,300 workers and now wants 6,327 H-1B workers imported from India. So apparently Microsoft wants to lay off 9,000 Americans this year. and import at least 6,000 Indians to replace them. But well, that's not the done thing.
No, that's not the done thing at all. I mean, that to me is I don't even understand why Trump's not spewing posts about it on Truth Social, because I mean, American workers are losing their jobs and they're importing immigrants to do the jobs for them. I mean, what the hell?
Right. Japan won't take rice, and yet they desperately need rice, but they won't take rice. They won't take other products we have. They need rice so badly, but they won't take rice. Sounds like Japan won't take rice.
They don't want genetically modified garbage in their food.
Yeah, well, that's true. Somebody looked at something in America, and Jesus Christ!
But the Russians have said that they've stopped importing soybeans and corn or something from America because of the GMO thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and quite right too.
I mean, ultimately, countries have it's a country's sovereign right to decide what it imports, what it exports. Trump
takes everything that when somebody refuses to buy something from him, he takes it personally, doesn't he? Because it becomes, oh, you're not dealing with me. I need to deal with you. Yeah, right. California sorry.
No, go on.
California closes its $12 billion dollar deficit by cutting back illegal immigrants' access to free healthcare. Oh, really? Do you think maybe it's starting to bite? Yeah, maybe.
Just a little bit. I mean, California is one of the worst run states in the entire US. Gavin Newsom is a complete disaster area.
You remember when Texas were putting up signs inviting people from California to come and move there? Right. The Pentagon has halted missile and we covered this, didn't we, at the start, and ammunition shipments to Ukraine during shortage in US stockpiles. And see, this is the problem. US can't afford to have any kind of shortage in its stockpiles, or it doesn't become the big bully that it likes to be. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing: is you win wars by mass producing like cheap, easy to maintain, easy to repair military equipment, and that's not what the US or Western military industrial complex does. It produces very expensive, very complicated. I mean, if you just look at the maintenance that goes into an F-35. They spend more time in maintenance than they do in the bloody air.
Yeah, and they've got
it's the same with the tanks and the BMPs and everything else.
And an F-35's either got to go to Norfolk in Virginia or the big US base in Italy for maintenance. They're the only two places. Yeah. Right. Absolutely crazy. It's like, what was it? There was a US senator on today or something saying, they used to be able to build a Liberator bomber during World War II in 18 hours from nothing to flying. So you build something cheap and in massive numbers, and boom, there you go.
It's the same with the Liberty ships in World War II as well. I mean, I think they could knock one of those Liberty ships up in a couple of days or something.
Yeah.
Or a week at most. I mean, it didn't.
Yeah.
They were churning them out, and that's effectively what Russia's doing now. And Russia's set up for it, and they have a unified military industrial base. And they can do that. It's like Mark Rutte said himself that, and I think he was actually being generous to European industry, to Western industry, but the Russians produce the same in 3 months that the entire collective West does in a year.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a war of attrition like that.
No, you aren't. And here, tip from the troll room. To get rid of flies in your house, cut a lemon in half and put cloves in each half. Space each half out in a room and the fly problem is solved. Trust me, it works. Thank me later. Well, there you go, Yorkshire lad. Thank you for that. Now remember, if you want to maintain the ad-free status of this stream, you've got to be making a little donation one or t'other, somebody's got to come across with the goodies. Remember, there's Ko-fi there at the bottom of the screen. That works a treat. And also, you can drop me something in PayPal. If you don't have that, it's paypal.me chasing this, DISS. If you just shut up, Ray, shut up, or I'll just be banning you because you can't talk about things like that on YT. And if you wish to maintain, there won't be any ads here because I'm not running ads on the horizontal stream. So you won't get ads because it's a what would you call it? A monetized channel that's not running ads. If you're on the vertical stream, my apologies, people, but you will be getting ads. And if you want to stop them, all somebody needs to do is drop a little note, and there you go. But you shouldn't have done that, Shalini. You're just taking all the fun away because you're giving me money, and that's great. But these other beasts are freeloading off your back. Freeloading, I say. Right. Anyway, let's go.
You've done slagging the audience off.
Yeah, well, you got to keep them in their place, you know.
Oh, the slides aren't changing in the vertical stream, by the way.
Oh, why aren't they? Oh no, they're not. Why aren't they?
No.
How's that?
You're the producer.
How's that better? Right. You could have told me though before we got to slide 11, right? Anyway,
I wasn't paying attention.
Well, you tell me about this one. The Times of Israel posted this today. I didn't post the whole blurb of text. Ed's got this technique of sending me text-heavy tweets. You know, they're like 3 pages of text, and I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to show that on a screen?
Well, this is Ukrainian scammers targeting Israelis. Just like the beast is eating itself. Yeah, I think it's they're essentially sending out emails. Ukrainian scammers are sending emails to Israelis that look all official, like they're from the Israeli government, asking them to contribute towards air defenses and stuff. Which that one tickled me.
and they've raised something like 80 billion for Ukraine's coffers by doing this. So it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I keep banging on about Ukraine being one of the most corrupt European countries in the world prior to the SMO, does it?
It always has been.
Oh, good God, imagine that. Right, anyway, let's move on before we get ourselves into trouble. Speaking about, that favoured nation. The Russian army have started using smartwatches that warns about drones and gives the frequency of the drone to use with signal jammers. So the information...
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, the information is wirelessly received from drone detectors that are put on cars, trenches, mostly everywhere. So once you're in a zone that's got drone detectors around it, as a Russian soldier, you can walk about and your watch will tell you if there's a drone coming. So you can actually walk about quite freely. Quite good.
That's actually very clever.
I have to sound a siren for our Nectaritas. Thank you. Dropped us some money on PayPal. You're such a star. Right. Next. HMS Mersey, a coastal patrol vessel, tracks Russian submarine Novorossiysk in the English Channel. One has a single 20mm cannon and 2 general-purpose machine guns. The other has torpedoes, cruise missiles, mines, and SAMs. But apart from that, by tract. Oh, good grief, there's more. Dave Barnes has dropped us a chat. Thank you, Dave. That's very much appreciated. Right, so
this just goes to show you what kind of state that Britain is in. I mean,
we
want to start trying to start a war with Russia. I mean, it's just laughable.
Yeah, but when it says track, the Russian submarine's running on the surface. It doesn't have to do anything to track it. All it needs to do is put out a set of binoculars and go, oh, there's a Russian submarine. Yeah,
Well, it's like
let's
the
watch it.
time that, yeah, it's like the Russian warship that was escorting Russian commercial ships, like
Yeah.
oil tankers, that was supposed to have disguised itself. I still don't know what it disguised itself as. I haven't been able to find that one out.
A
But
killer whale.
well,
Anyway,
probably a bloody immigrant dinghy because they just get ignored anyway.
I had to reply to that. Surely it's just exercising its right of navigation, just like we do in the Taiwan Straits.
Exactly.
There you go. You know,
But as always with the rules-based international order, it's one rule for us and one rule for everyone else.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right, okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We got there. Rachel Reeves, what do you make of this nonsense that happened? Was it only yesterday? It was?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
what
was
do you
only
make of
yesterday.
this? Chancellor breaks down in Parliament, sitting crying on the front bench.
That's because Starmer
During
refused to
PMQs.
give her. Well, because Starmer was equivocal about his support for the Chancellor, because we all know she's going to be the one that gets hung out to dry, just so that it extends Starmer's time in office a little bit more. And I think for someone in that position, particularly the Chancellor of the Exchequer,
Yeah.
it's not a good look. This is not a serious person. This is not a serious government. She's got no idea what she's doing. She's utterly ruining the economy. We've got capital flight. We've got gilt prices going way above what they were after Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng's budget.
Mhm.
And I just think it's a bit pathetic. I mean, grow some stones. I mean, if you can't, okay,
Yep.
put it bluntly, as we used to say in school, if you can't piss with the big boys, don't show up.
Exactly. I mean, she tried to put it off as a personal problem. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. She should.
If you've got a personal problem and you're about to burst into tears, then go off and deal with that personal problem and leave Parliament to the big boys.
Sorry, it landed on my mic.
I mean, I don't rate her as a chancellor. I don't know as a person, so I'm not criticizing her as a person. And yeah, people are allowed to get upset. People are allowed to cry. But in this particular situation, it's not a good look.
And then, of course, the Bank of England had asked for suggestions for redoing the money. And of course, someone suggested that maybe we should put the Chancellor on.
I mean, that woke thing, doesn't the country have other things? This is the problem with the government, is that we've got 101 problems, and we're hemorrhaging money like water freaking coming into the Titanic after it hit the iceberg, allegedly. And these idiots are talking about wokeifying the money by taking all of Britain's historical figures off. I mean, that's just destroying our own culture. It's and apart from having 101 better things to be thinking about,
So, Mr. Dreadeye has dropped me some dosh. Do you really need to do that, Mr. Dreadeye? But anyway, he's dropped me some dosh on the vertical chat. Thank you very much. You are a star. Well, we're getting it hard and fast this evening, Ed, if you pardon the expression.
I think it's good.
Yeah. Right. Okay, moving on. And that's her today. That's her today. Look at her today.
Well, yeah.
This woman's not fit. She's not fit to be in this position at all.
No.
She just isn't. And it might sound misogynist, right? But I was actually thinking about this because men have pretty much ruled everything for the last, forever. You know, until about the, late 60s, 70s. Women weren't really in a position of any kind of power, generally. And I'm only calling it as it is. They have worked into positions of power now, which is fine. But was the world worse off when women stayed at home, had babies, and made apple pie?
Well, it was different. I've got no problem with the fact of the Chancellor of the Exchequer being a woman. I question her competence, and I question her ability to do the job, and I question her basic grasp about economics. And to me, it's about competence, not about sexuality. If you look at Margaret Thatcher, can you imagine Margaret Thatcher crying in Parliament?
No.
And I mean, the thing is that it's okay for people to be emotional. It's okay for people to have bad days. It's okay for people to react. But when you're in a position of that kind of power and you're being broadcast to the nation, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I just expect a bit more. What happened to the stiff upper lip anyway?
Yeah, you don't bring that to Parliament. You just don't. I mean, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And if you look at the way that the market's reacting, I mean, if you look at the pound versus the dollar,
Yeah.
as soon as that crying shit came up on TV, the graph just goes zoink.
Yeah, it did. It did. Right, moving on. Olga put this tweet out. This is one of yours.
Yeah. There's been a few of those because the NAFOids realised the scale of US terrorism. So NAFO have originally officially added the US to the enemies list. I mean, that's basically what it is. That's how they see it, and they're so the arrogant, entitled, conceited nature of these people just makes my skin crawl. It really does. I just don't. People that arrogant deserve to lose, frankly.
Yeah, they do. They do. And Ukrainian mums have started texting.
Well, the TCC is the TCC is the Ukrainian recruitment offices that are sending people out to kidnap men off the streets to send them to the meat grinder. And I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me because Ukrainian women are actually fighting back.
Yeah, they are. Right, Trump fragrances are here. They're called Victory 4547 because they're all about winning, strength, and success for men and women. Get yourself a bottle and don't forget to get one for your loved ones.
So
enjoy, have fun, and keep winning.
The US thought they were going to get Doge and the Epstein list and all sorts of other things, and they got Eau de Toilette, Eau de Trump. You just, I don't know what Trump is smoking. I think someone's putting something in his food or in his water. Or
this is the fucking president of the United States. This is the leader of the free world, and he is on flogging toiletries.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, can you imagine what Xi and Putin and Kim Jong Un and the Iranians probably have a WhatsApp group, and they're just sending this shit, just having a massive laugh at his expense. I mean,
Kim Jong Un, they're going, toiletry. I think I might need to do that.
he's probably got one already.
Yeah.
It's probably mandatory for all North Koreans to wear the dear leader's eau de cologne. Yeah,
okay. We'll leave it at that when we get near colognes. Right. The UK is no longer an open country for free expression. Well, has it ever been? Really, has it ever been an open country for free expression? Because even if you think back, you couldn't say certain things in, the 30s and 40s and 50s. The UK's never been a country for free expression because we don't have a codified law.
Well, sure. I mean, even back in the 80s when we had the troubles in Northern Ireland, Sinn Féin leaders were dubbed. You weren't actually allowed to hear Jerry Adams's voice. But I mean, this particular article is significant because it's like an official world ranking.
Yeah.
And we've always been classed as being an open country thus far. And for the first time, we're not. And I mean, if you live in the UK, unless you've got your fucking head in the sand,
and
you can see what's happening to the place.
And we're not allowed to listen to Russia Today. We're not allowed to listen to Al Jazeera anymore, are we?
We're not allowed to visit the Sputnik website.
Yeah, these are all banned from the UK. I mean,
obviously you can.
I never said you couldn't, but what I said was you're not allowed to.
Mm.
You're not allowed to. Sometimes if you don't want to fall foul of not being allowed to do something, never ask for permission.
I mean, people be locked up for what they say on social media.
Well, you
It
could.
sometimes feels like the police spend more time harassing people for what they say on social media than they do actually catching real criminals.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. Right. Moving on. Council flew for. Remember this councillor, this CEO, that refused to take the pride flag down at the council. Right. So councils work, and I don't know how it works in England, but councils in Scotland work probably along a similar situation. You have the kind of councillors who are elected, and then you have the people that actually run all the council business, and they're headed
Yeah, we
up.
have that here too.
They're headed up by a CEO. So it's just like Parliament. You've got your civil servants, and you've got the people that get elected. And the people that are elected make policy. They don't tell you what to do. Because I worked for a council. I mean, I used to run IT for all the schools in Ayrshire. And, you know, there's a policy, but really, you never deal with the councillors unless they're being annoying. Because they don't really have anything to do with running the business of the council. So when the council leader turns around and says, take that flag down, is it anything to do with the councillor? You know? Who's in charge? Well, this woman thought she was in charge. And
well, you kind of expect it would be.
Well, is it really? I mean,
Well,
if they want to change
the
it,
elected
though,
officials.
yeah, but if they want to change it, they've got to set a policy. So they need to have a meeting and set a policy that then makes it an official policy. And then the CEO could take action, right? But the guy just turned around and goes, no, take the flag down. And she's like, look, the flag's been flown every year that I've been CEO. I'm not taking it down unless you want to change the policy. And then it turns out she'd never asked planning permission to fly that flag. So she's wrong, regardless. And this is the thing that gets me: the council and planning permission, because the planning permission is run by the council. It's a fucking joke. Councils are ridiculous. They've no idea about one bit. One bit of the council never talks to the other part of the council. They just don't have a clue what's going on.
I mean, I don't know. When it comes to flags, I'm not a flag waver. I have 2 passports, so
Yeah.
the whole idea of nationalism for me is just a bit absurd.
Yeah. Okay. Don't rub it.
But when it comes to flags, I think that if I don't see why flags other than the Union flag and perhaps a regional flag, if there is one, why those wouldn't be the only things that are flown. I mean, it's like when they fly the Ukraine flag or the Pride flag or
Yeah, why
whatever.
would you fly these flags? Why are people still flying Ukraine flags? I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy. Anyway,
It's just virtue signaling woke nonsense.
and then we have the Daily Mail talking about virtual signalling woke nonsense. The 2 maidens of Pompeii may have been gay lovers, scientists say, after reanalyzing the iconic preserved figures found wrapped in a poignant embrace. Do you think maybe it was just 2 humans reaching out for each other at a point for just some comfort, just as they're
Mother
about
and
to
daughter,
die?
female friends, whatever. I don't.
Stupid.
This is one of the things about the modern world that really fucking irritates me is that they have to wokeify everything.
Just
They're all. I mean, it kind of cheapens the fact that we're talking about 2 people who died in a natural disaster.
yeah.
And instead of focusing on that and how horrific their last minutes on this earth must have been, they're talking about them being gay. I mean, who gives a shit?
Right. Moving on. I guess he didn't like my name for his new political party. Jezbollah. That's a cracker. So Jeremy Corbyn and Zara, let me get this right, Sultana are going to start their own political party. I mean, what the hell? I mean, really? What the hell?
All I can say is that Jeremy Corbyn would have been a much better Prime Minister than Keir Starmer. Not because I agree with him about a lot, but because he was a man of principles and he was not someone that would just kowtow to lobbies, and yeah. So that's my view on him.
Yeah. Okay.
And ultimately, the political system in this country is an absolute joke with the Uniparty, because Labour and the Tories are basically no different. And so if we have other people wanting to shake up the political pot, good luck to them. And
the problem is we're not curing this thing with politics. We're not curing the problems that we've got with politics here.
No,
that's the problem.
That's true.
You know, and it's going to take a long time before people see it. 2 firefighters were shot and killed in an ambush while responding to a wildfire on Canfield Mountain in Coeur d'Alene, North Idaho. The sheriff confirmed there are additional casualties, but the exact number remains unknown. So, somebody set a wildfire, and then a sniper started popping at the firefighters as they turned up to fight. It was a deliberate ambush. Absolutely crazy. In Idaho. What the freaking hell? Just crazy. There are some weird people out there. You really are.
Yeah, they really, really are. I was going to say especially in America, but I don't think anywhere else in the world is any different.
No, I don't think it is. Putin is invading more than Ukraine. The new battlefield is online, and the stakes are democratic sovereignty. Yeah, okay. Everything. Yeah, it's just cyber attacks and all this. It's just nonsense. It's just absolute.
They don't spend. It's like if you look at Romania, they don't put. It's all about the Russians. They never focus on the amount that the EU. The amount of money that the EU pumped in.
It was Russia invaded Romania with tweets.
Just propaganda nonsense.
And now
it's just not true.
He's focusing all his aggression on the US and its allies. He's spending millions of dollars bombarding European voters with manipulative social media and disinformation campaigns on a mass scale. It's a new type of warfare on democracy that eliminates the need to roll tanks into capitals.
But it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to, because those governments have pissed off their own population so much.
Where is this?
It doesn't need to pay me any money.
Where is this democracy that they speak of?
I think it's really quaint that you think we've got democracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or freedom.
Yeah. So,
but it's just Putin weaponizes everything. I mean,
I know.
He's now weaponized tweets.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's just an excuse for everything. It was Putin.
It's comical.
Yeah. Putin did it.
Comical.
Putin did it and ran away. Big boy did it and ran away. Right. Speaking of big boys,
bad boogeyman, because the country's got to have an enemy, because the useless, corrupt politicians have got to keep their populations' attention focused abroad, so that they're not focusing on the absolutely abysmal job that said politicians doing.
So, before I go on about the next thing, hello Paul from Newcastle on the Vertical Chat. Good to see you there, mate. Most of the people in the chat are currently in the what we call the horizontal stream. There are 2 streams running. One of the titles says vertical at the end. You're in the one that says vertical. You want to join the body of the Kirk, so to speak. I did actually merge these streams once. Do you remember? I merged the chat and it came up on screen. And the backlash from Shalini was intense. Right. Anyway, moving on. These 2 guys from Manchester Airport went on trial. Well, the trial started this week. Well, it was supposed to start this week, so it took them 2 days to pick the jury. And people are freaking out about that. But these kind of trials, it does take ages to pick the jury, because both sides will object to jury members that obviously favour either side. So it just takes ages to go through a jury on something like this.
Well, I've done jury duty, and it's not a quick
process.
Nothing about the court system that is fast or efficient.
There's nothing. Trust me, I've spent a lot of time at court, and obviously not in the bad way, but it's not fast and it's not clever. So this tweet that I saw earlier today was: understand Manchester Airport trial is about to collapse due to an illegal search of the defendant's solicitor's files when he was arrested for money laundering. Now, this might be something to do with the fact that the judge had postponed the start of the trial because there was something they needed to sort out from a legal perspective. But I'm pleased to say the trial has started and is going ahead. In fact, first witnesses have already given their evidence, and apparently we have heard that an extreme level of aggression and violence was used by these two Muppets. So we'll follow that and keep you posted on what happens. Meanwhile, in Scotland's new green ferry emits more CO2 than the old diesel.
This is just this is absolutely typical green bollocks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because they're running it on LNG, so the byproduct of LNG is methane, not carbon dioxide, which is supposedly a stronger greenhouse gas. Even though that whole, I'm just not going to do it because we'll get the channel into trouble. But don't get me started on that.
Is LNG's what's propane? Because the byproduct of propane is basically water vapor.
Yeah, but propane and LNG are different.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah, the LNG is different because I remember I went into a petrol station in Sweden and that was selling LNG. And that was no use for my big van's propane tank.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way to get it. I had to go in search of propane. Right.
Well, there's LNG and there's LPG.
Yes, LPG is fine. That's what I use. That's propane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is just typical. It's the same with all of this other green nonsense. It's like we're going to have windmills, but you don't always have wind, so you have to have conventional power for them anyway. So you're doubling up.
There's a slide about that coming up.
I mean, just ridiculous.
Yeah. So there you go. I think this report though is slightly inaccurate because I don't think it will be using as many emissions as the old ferry because this one is always in repair. Right. Okay. Moving on. These kind of tweets really piss me off, right? This is the kind of thing where, oh, you're disabled, but you can't work. You can't tell me you can't work. I mean, go ahead and tell me why you can't work. This guy can work. And it's like, that really pisses me off. These are just, these are really so divisive, you know, because not everybody has the opportunity to get a job that they can actually do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet that guy doesn't do a full day's work. I'll bet he doesn't. And it's probably he probably owns it. But, you know, regardless of that, this is not the way to go about winning friends and influencing people, you know, being an arsehole.
No, it's not a way to have a compassionate society.
Yeah, that's completely wrong. That's what I said. I mean, I've said this before, and you might think it's strange coming from me, who is indeed an arsehole. But I'd rather see bad people get disability illegally than a disabled person go without it when they really needed it.
Me too. And actually, when you look at particularly the PIP and stuff, the level of fraud in PIP is almost non-existent.
Yeah, well, yeah, it does happen though. But the PIP forms
it does happen, but it's very, very low.
But I see they had to walk back some of the bill that they were trying to push through. So people that have already got PIP won't be losing it. They won't be reassessed.
That whole welfare bill just turned into a complete debacle.
Yeah, if you a Labour government going after old folk, disabled people, what the fuck has happened? The world's upside down.
Not just that, but they're trying to save $5 billion on the disabled bill
and give it to Ukraine
welfare, and just spaff it off on Zelensky's bloody marching powder problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look in Ukraine and all of the money, they've got defensive fortifications that haven't been built properly, or in some cases not at all. You have Ukrainian officials that are buying $1 million flats and stuff. I mean, it's just makes you sick. It really does.
Right, let's move on. Starmer increasingly resembles a terrified, bespectacled supply teacher who's lost control of a class of 12-year-old girls.
Pretty much it.
It's not a bad headline. I've got to give you that.
Not a bad headline at all. It's also extremely accurate.
Yeah, it is. Moving on. Keir Starmer, country first, party second. Which country? And that's something. That's something you've got to be very careful. Very careful. Oh, we'll come into that one. We'll be coming to that one, David. Yeah. Yeah, we're coming to that. Don't worry. Keir Starmer. Yeah. Science
in Starmer's case, it seems to be any country apart from the UK.
Oh, I'm thinking it might be another. There's another country. Well, there's two countries in particular.
I mean, there's two that immediately come to mind. But if you look at the amount of money that the government is pissing away on stupid projects in places like Africa and that whole Chagos Islands deal and stuff.
David Kenton's come out with a dodgy statement. I won't read it out, but I wholeheartedly agree with it. Science experts are now saying that vast deserts and absence of life may indicate that Mars was once governed by the Labour Party.
Oh, dear.
Postman twat. Couldn't deliver a fucking letter, never mind a growing economy. I agree with that. Asha Logos here says, I'm starting to think governance by paedophiles and sexual predators covertly controlled by intelligence agency blackmail rings isn't the ideal political structure.
It really isn't. This is not a good way to run a society.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to doubt that this bloated surveillance state war machine run by ancient demonic cult of child rapists can be fixed by voting. Yeah, I think we may have a point there. And British General Dame Sharon Naismith says UK is ready to fight Russia, but there are risks in our ability to do that.
This is such nonsense. And if you actually look at that tweet, the number of veterans and former servicemen and current servicemen who say they're not fighting, and people who say they're not fighting, and I question how someone this stupid gets a job like that.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Soldier. Hi, Soldier. Starmer. I'm a hard bastard. Starmer told Nick Robinson that some people say he is losing the dressing room. I'm a hard enough bastard to find out who it was that said that so I can have a discussion with him.
We've all seen the clip of Starmer with the punch bag.
Yes.
I mean, you can't put out a video like that during your election campaign and expect everyone to think that you're a hard nut. Seriously.
And cowering from the football.
Literally, he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag.
Oh, good grief. And some Star Wars memes. Our elites are fucking children. I agree, they're immature. You mean they're immature, right? Take from that what you will. Speaking of our elites, MI6 distances its new chief from Nazi grandfather. The grandfather of the new head of British foreign intelligence was a Ukrainian Nazi.
And not just that, but a really bad one. But apparently there's other bad people in her family line as well.
Yeah.
But supposedly the reason is that it's actually one of the things that makes her a really good MI6 chief, because she has this complicated family background. She's just another bloody raging Russophobe, which is the exact last thing that we need in this country.
Exactly. This is exactly what we don't need. Look at those eyes. That's a scary bitch. That is.
Yeah, seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he was known as a butcher, wasn't he, David? Yeah. Anyway, without an enemy, here's a tweet from a guy called Ed. Without an enemy, NATO is just a pointless money pit, and Mark Rutte is as powerless and pathetic little retard. So that was that's him telling us that we're losing, but we're next. They're losing, but we're next. Yeah.
And his latest one is saying that Sergei Lavrov's been foreign minister of Russia since the time of Jesus Christ, and we shouldn't listen to him because he never says anything sensible. I mean, Lavrov is a more
Did
significant
you see the embassy come back at him on that?
statesman. Yeah.
The embassy came back and said, "Well, Mr. Rutte, you've presided over 4 governments that have fallen, and all the time Mr. Lavrov's been head of whatever he is, some diplomatic mission or whatever. He has never been deposed." Yeah.
And not just, I mean, the
Yeah,
Dutch
Chatham
don't
House.
don't
Yeah,
like that,
Darren. Darren's right. Note Chatham House. Yeah, that's where they had their little chat.
You should listen to my stepfather talking about Mark Rutte.
Rutte.
I mean, he's useless and he's arrogant and he's stupid. And his being head of NATO is just a cushy job that he got after ruining the Netherlands.
Yeah. NHS app will be indispensable part of life, vows Keir Starmer. So let's get this
Not mine,
straight.
it won't.
So we're wanting to make an app for people that people need to rely on an app to get their NHS stuff. And yet the people who are less likely to be digitally inclined are the people that are most likely to need the app, i.e. old people. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to work well. What? He really is.
I was round for curry last night with a friend who's in her 60s, and she's not techie at all. She has a mobile phone, but she literally just uses it to video call her mum.
Yeah.
And she was on a package holiday that had some issues, and she was absolutely raving about how the fact that she couldn't, in days gone by, you would have a rep and you could talk to them, and now the whole thing's done on the app, and it's just, this is why they're just trying to kill off all the old people.
Yeah, I know, because they don't need to employ people, because it'll all be run by AI shortly, won't it? And then nobody will get any satisfaction. I can assure you of that.
None.
Right, moving
and
on.
Make mistakes.
The anonymous forces hell-bent on condemning Lucy Letby to a slow-motion death penalty because our legal system dare not admit it might be wrong.
This is one of the most heinous miscarriages of justice since probably the last person that was hung. I think the last person that experienced capital punishment in the UK turned out to be innocent. And for that poor woman to be locked up because the system is trying to protect itself, it's disgusting, but it's absolutely typical of modern Britain.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Oh, they are already using AI. I know, joining John. I know that, but it's going to get worse, mate, before it gets better. Although the big EMP, if Russia drops a big EMP over the UK, that could solve the AI problem overnight, couldn't it? Hey,
yeah,
there's
pretty
a
much.
thought. Oh, I'll come to that. Remind me about that. I'll come back to that. UN expert urges criminalising fossil fuel disinformation, banning lobbying. What was that we were talking about? What were we talking about? Freedom of speech and
yeah,
the right to reply and all that. Yeah.
Well, the problem is that none of their predictions have ever come true ever since they were bleating about global cooling back in the 70s. The science doesn't stand up because they have to invent weather stations and put temperature gauges on bloody runways and ignore any data and periods of history that disagree with them. And they say, oh, there's a scientific consensus. No, you censor everybody that disagrees with you. And that's their idiocy doesn't stand up to scrutiny. So they just criminalize it. I mean, it's disgusting.
Oh,
it's not freedom of speech.
Crazy. I mean, how can you tell that something's real if there's no opposing views?
Exactly. And in this case, it's like the BBC deplatforming anyone who disagreed with the climate narrative. And that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they just spout constant propaganda. And if you are talking to parents who have kids in school, they're weaving this propaganda into absolutely everything, like maths and English and history, and it's just brainwashing. And it's all nonsense. It's scientifically, it's absolute nonsense.
And Ray's right. When they ban discussion, they know they are losing. You're right, Ray. You are right.
Absolutely right, Ray. Yeah, definitely.
J.K. Rowling. This tweet has taught me two things. Don't fuck with J.K. Rowling and children. Anyway, Stephen Ireland, who targeted me with endless abuse on here because I oppose the chemical castration of children and removal of protected species for women and girls, has been sentenced to 30 years in jail for child rape. There, don't fuck with JK.
There seems to be, I don't know if it's just me, but there does seem to be a correlation between people of that ilk and people who sexually abuse people and collect pictures that they shouldn't and all this kind of thing.
You think? Yeah, there
Well,
does.
just
There
a
does.
hunch.
Yeah, there does. Right, okay, let's move to Estonia. And it's not Kaka, but I put a picture of Kaka there because I can't have a whole episode without a picture of Kaka, can we?
Well, no, we need to have Kaka's Corner.
Right, so this is Kaka's Corner. Her colleague, our former colleague, Estonian Education Minister, failed the multiplication table by being unable to name the result of multiplying 8 by 4. I mean, everybody knows it's 24, don't they?
I do question how Estonia manages to function as a country. I really
It's not a country, is it? It's a fucking theme park. It really has to be. I mean, it looks gorgeous. I think it's a theme park.
It's like anti-Putin land or something.
Is this where Tallinn is? Tallinn's in Estonia, isn't it?
No, Tallinn. No? No, I think Tallinn.
Tallinn's definitely a theme park. It's not.
Yeah, no, I think Tallinn is Estonia. Yeah.
It's
No,
got,
because Riga is the capital of Latvia.
yeah, it's got to be a
I'm
theme
not
park.
sure what the capital of Lithuania is.
Yeah, and we now have a picture of Maloney for no other reason than it's Maloney, and there's a bit of a likeness there, isn't there?
Well, that was that video of her at the
Yeah.
NATO summit, and she looked off her pickle, as we used to say back in the day. She looked like she was on something or other.
Yeah, I think she'd been partaking. Right, so Germany obviously has a problem with middle-aged Fräuleins sexually accosting diverse coloured people with prosthetic legs in swimming pools. There is so much freaking wrong with this. So much wrong with it. The only way it could be improved is if that fucking turtle had a straw up its nose.
Yeah. I mean, it just, anytime you think the UK is bad, all you have to do is look at Germany and you'll see it could be much worse.
What the fuck? This is exactly what's not happening in Germany. I mean, it's the complete ass for tit, as they say.
It's
mad.
but then you only have to look at some of the politicians in Germany. The head of one of the left wing parties is a she her that's actually a he him.
Oh.
Complete with receding hairline and lipstick. I mean, do people even look at yourselves in the bloody mirror before you leave the house?
Anyway, Judge Hannah Dugan is facing up to 6 years in prison for obstructing ICE. This is the judge who took the people that were going to be deported, I think, down through her chambers and out to freedom. Yeah, tough titty, Judge Dugan. You shouldn't have done it, should you? Broke the law. Not above the law.
She's
Not above
exactly.
the
I
law.
mean, if you're a judge, then you should have respect for the law.
Mm-hmm. Right, so the father who jumped into the ocean to save his daughter on a Disney cruise ship, did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
Right, so apparently he'd been getting a lot of stick saying that he obviously had the child propped up on the railing and it fell off and whatever. Well, apparently that's not the case, apparently. Apparently the mother saw it, the child did it herself, which isn't impossible. Apparently the child climbed up something and fell out the porthole. I still think there's a little lack of parental responsibility here for a 5-year-old to be able to crawl out a porthole 20 feet up from the ocean. But as soon as the father was told, he jumped in, tread water with her until the rescue boat came back. I think it took something like 30 minutes.
I saw people online criticizing the father for jumping out, saying he should have left it to the...
Oh, fuck no. No way. The father did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have kids, but I know most fathers would jump into a vat of boiling oil after their kids if they had to.
He had to do that. He had to. That's one of those, there's no debating. You are doing it. You're out there and that's it. Because, I mean, a 5-year-old, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Right, Elon Musk says people with Neuralink brain chips will eventually be able to have full body control and sensors from a Tesla Optimus robot. So you could basically inhabit an Optimus robot. Not just a hand, the whole thing. You could mentally remote into an Optimus robot. The future's going to be weird, but pretty cool. And of course, someone always has to spoil it. Is it gay to remote into the robot and jerk yourself off with it?
I mean, okay, someone that's disabled, yes, but I don't know. The future's going to be weird, but pretty cool. As Musk sat down and watched the Terminator movies at any point in his life?
I've no idea, mate. I've no idea, but what? This is actually something I thought of earlier on in the show. What happens if there's an EMP? All these people with their brain chips just go, I'm asthmatic again.
Or worse, we have a Carrington event.
Yeah.
And the Neuralink literally fries your brain.
Cooks your brain, yeah. Oh, frying tonight. Right. Yeah, Musk is Musk doesn't have a clue. He really doesn't. I mean, he comes up with
a slide for it, but he posted this tweet about how Norway's now 97% electric, and then if you look at the replies, it's only because the Norwegian government penalizes
and
combustion engine cars so much,
and they subsidized electric, and for many years they subsidized electric cars. You know, a shitload, which is kind of ironic when Norway is in the position it's in purely through fossil fuels. It's vast oil reserves, which it put to good use, unlike Scotland. Right, moving on. This is AI's headquarters. Is it my first question was this guy's employing Indians. It's my first thought. It just that's exactly what I think.
I mean, I found this really disturbing, and I've seen some people say, "Oh God, that's such an amazing work ethic. They're all young men trying to get ahead and all this kind of thing."
For the last episode, sorry. For the last episode,
that's true.
Oh no, sorry.
And isn't it ironic?
That is ironic. Yeah, you're right, Emma. I missed the button. Right, carry on.
I just think it's disturbing because A, work-life balance is important in all situations.
Yeah.
B, the only reason they're doing it is because of Musk's own famous thing where he sleeps in factories and stuff. And I'm not sure that, because these are all ex-AI engineers, and I'm not sure that it's a sensible idea for people who are so disconnected from humanity and reality to be programming AI, frankly.
Good point, Ed, actually. Good point. And Dave comes up with a good point in the chat. Saving a fortune in rent. Could well be, mate. But I'm pretty much convinced these guys will be Indian contractors. 100%.
I haven't seen pictures of them.
No,
but if Microsoft is anything to go by, then you're probably right.
Yeah. What was it? Somebody?
I mean, ultimately, there's freedom of choice. People are allowed to do whatever they want to do. I just don't think it's healthy.
Somebody posted a picture of Microsoft and sent it to Iran and said, "This is where we store our weapons." Oh, right. It's not healthy, mate. And I don't think Elon Musk is all there, because apparently he said, well, he didn't say he was a 3,000-year-old time-traveling alien. He said he was a 5,000-year-old time-traveling alien who's trying to return to his home planet. The guy's nuts.
I don't know if he and Trump have got their hands on some really gnarly weed or something, but I don't know. They say power corrupts. Does it make you really high?
Speaking of Indians, when an Indian man marries, he scratches the dot off his wife's forehead to see if he's won a gas station, a motel, a Subway restaurant, or he has to work for Elon Musk.
God. That's terrible.
I love it. Anyway, Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous. It was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidies than any human being in history by far. And without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. Probably. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production in our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Dodge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. So the spat's still kind of on, because that was only yesterday.
Well, Musk actually, he posted a reply to someone who'd tweeted this on X, saying just cut all of it.
Yeah. So Vicky says Microsoft aren't doing too well at the moment. I think you must have missed her part earlier on Microsoft, because it's not that Microsoft aren't doing too well and having lots of layoffs. They're laying off 9,000 Americans because they want 6,000 Indians to replace them. They've asked for 6,300 H-1B visas from India. Yeah, so Microsoft are just doing fine. They just want to cut paying Americans. So that's what happens when you put an Indian in charge of your company. Anyway, sorry, rant over. Moving on. Vladimir Putin bans, and I'm quite disturbed by this, because did we not say what one was better? Remember, we did a survey, or not a survey, but we did a dive into the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple. And we came to the conclusion that both were fairly okay, but one was better than the other. Do you remember?
Yeah, but, well, yeah. I'm not sure, I can't remember which one was which, but...
I need to look that up. But Putin's banned the Satanic Temple. Why?
Yeah, but because he is taking Russia down a particular path, and it probably is offensive to Orthodox Christianity. And I have no problem with it, given the fact that the world is just
state censorship. Why is it okay for him to do state censorship when we moan about state censorship all the time?
Well, because he's president of the country, sovereign.
It's still state. No, it's still state censorship, though. Why is it okay for Russia to censor things when we would moan about people in this country censoring things?
Well, it's a fair point, but at the same time, when it's something, okay, Western journalists have absolutely no problem working in Russia. Russian journalists basically can't work in the West. Russian audiences are allowed to watch the BBC and Western channels if they can get them. Western audiences aren't, and have to jump through all sorts of hoops. So ultimately, Russia is going against this trend of the West that's liberalizing everything. And I mean, because it's like it's illegal in Russia to show kids LGBTQ plus 2i whatever propaganda.
Well, and there are lines, obviously, and I think that's pretty fair, because you don't want to expose children to sexual stuff too early in life. You want them to. But
when it comes to religion, I mean, I agree with you. But when it comes to religion, that surely is another line.
Yeah, but with the same token, if someone wants to worship the devil, then really should you make it illegal?
Well, people who are worshipping the Satanic Temple in Russia are probably still going to do it, just in secret.
Yeah, see, and this is always a problem when you censor something, because you drive it underground, and then you don't know about it, and then things happen. Right. Where was I?
That's the problem when you ban things.
Yeah. Soldier says, did we talk about his mean, immature globalist? I'm not sure what that was. Was it the Star Wars one that we talked about? That was the only immature thing that came up earlier. If not, I'll need to look about that.
Then we save the immature stuff at the end of the show.
I don't know. Right. Surgeon who announced the Brigitte Macron's transgender transformation found dead in Paris. Turned out 58-year-old Francois Favourite fell out of the window of his apartment. Fell out the window. That reeks of somebody's MO that we were just talking about.
Well, supposedly Macron had a conversation with Trump.
He phoned Putin. He phoned Putin.
No, he phoned Putin, but there was regarding the Brigitte Macron thing, because Candace Owens got a phone call from Trump because Trump spoke to Macron, and Macron asked Trump to put a lid on the whole stuff about his wife. And so Candace got a call from Trump asking her to put a lid on it, and she's been a bit quiet on the Brigitte Macron front. But then you see a story like this, and it's just, because surgeons regularly fall out of windows. Happens all the time.
So apparently,
tell me there's more to this story without telling me there's more to this story.
Yeah. So apparently, he asked Candace Owens to stop talking about his wife. Do you think he was asking?
No, I think he asked Trump to ask Candace Owens to stop talking about his wife.
Yeah, things aren't going well in France.
Well, no. I mean, Macron is a complete disaster, but that's no different from the rest of Europe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know where to go with this anymore.
No, let's move on.
Let's move on. Right. Okay. So, Alex Phillips. Am I the only woman in London who doesn't expose 96% of her breasts and 67% of her arse cheeks on a hot day? I'm not at all for the victim blaming, but with the level of sexual assault and attack in the capital, who in their right mind wants to walk around looking like Lola Ferrari? I miss the days when girls were instilled with the values that protected their safety and integrity. Chuffing idiots. They have no idea that their possessive swagger poisons the welfare of women. Well, I've got a couple of problems with this. One, how a woman dresses or even acts does not excuse a man behaving like a rutting animal. If he...
Or a violent psychopath.
Yeah, exactly. It does not excuse the behaviour of men. If the woman says no, she means no, or she says no, then that's what it means. And I don't think it's right to moderate the way that you behave and dress to appease people that you shouldn't have to appease. And anyway, this is the 1970s. These women are in the street in their bras because it's so hot.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
that's not a bikini. That's a bra these women are wearing.
That's obviously the heat wave of 1976.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that ultimately people within the bounds of modesty should be able to wear what they like.
Yeah.
As long as the privates are covered up.
You know what? We're quite a loose society when it comes to what we wear. We shouldn't have to change that for anyone. Anyone.
Not just that, but we're also not. The country's not geared up for hot weather in the way it is for cold weather. So one of the things that we have to do is remove layers, because otherwise we just get too hot.
He does look happy, Jedi. He does. But he's probably seen someone he likes and he's speaking to her, But anyway, right, moving on. Mercury just got quietly removed from flu vaccine. Well, it's not called mercury, it's called thimerosal. And it's in there as an adjuvant and preservative. But it's true, it has been removed from all vaccines, I think. Now previously... Sorry?
now do animals.
Yeah, well, it had previously been removed from all child vaccines a few years ago, but now it's been removed from them all. But nobody actually lauded it or told us. But quite interesting. Quite interesting. So if we didn't need it, why was it there? That's the question. Right. Anyway, moving on. This pisses me off as well. When we talk about legislative mission creep, I don't think there's a better example than, and I know I don't normally defend cyclists, but a cyclist threatened with prosecution under the human rights law for riding no-handed.
I
Because
used to do that in Holland all the time.
there is no law that prevents you from riding without using your hands. In fact, if you had a unicycle, I'd ask you how you could ride it by using your hands, unless you were doing.
Yeah, but they didn't try and the law that the ticket was issued under was under the Human Rights Act of
Yeah.
everyone else's right to
Yeah,
not get hit by a bicycle.
yeah. Well, that's
This is just, I mean, this is typical police nonsense.
but
Don't
that's
they
just
have
what I'm
anything
saying.
better to do?
There is no law to prevent you riding a bicycle without using your hands. Therefore, this is fucking police overreach and gross stupidity all in one go. Absolutely madness.
Yeah.
City of London.
And also
police.
wasting taxpayers' money.
City of London, square mile. Right. Diddy fans celebrate by pouring baby oil over each other outside the court after Diddy was found not guilty of almost all the charges and had to be moved on by riot police.
Yeah, just it's a testament to the state of the world that dickhead's even still got fans.
How did he get away with it?
I think one of the main witnesses pulled out or something. I think it was something to do with one of the
Oh, wow.
witnesses. Just you couldn't make it up.
Yeah, I actually going back to the last one. I once did a guy for throwing a hamburger off a bridge, for a culpable and reckless act, which I think was fair because he threw the hamburger at a car, right, and the car swerved to try and avoid it because obviously the car thought he was throwing a rock. So I think that was a fair use of that legislation.
I think so.
Yeah.
Bloody dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. But I've never booked anyone for riding a bike with no hands, even though I loathe and detest cyclists. Right, moving on. New York unveils a 10-foot pink foot fountain on the High Line, a towering sculpture spraying water from its tip, soaking people below.
It looks like something you'd get in an SEX shop.
Yes, it does, mate. It does.
And it's
just
got tongues
gross.
and foot. It's, I mean, if I posted when I retweeted this earlier in the week, I basically just posted that 2025 is stupid and ugly, and it is.
It is. And women are warned not to put ice lollies in their foo-foos to cool them off in hot weather. It comes up every year. I mean, who the hell even thinks about doing such a thing? I don't know.
I've never. I mean, my ex
Careful.
was really into ice lollies, but she never considered doing something like that.
It was the way you started with, I've never. I thought, whoa, where are we going here? But anyway, we've escaped that. Let's move on. Jaguar sold just 49 cars in April 2025. 49 cars. That's fucked.
It's like a 98% drop or something.
Oh, that's mental, isn't it? 49
Well, it was a
cars.
year. It's been about a year since their big woke rebranding.
Oh, God, that went well, didn't it? Yeah.
The cars are fugly.
Well, who's
And
in charge
also,
of who owns
People
it?
don't want electric cars.
Who owns Jaguar?
Don't know.
My favorite people. Who are my favorite people? Indians.
I don't know.
Who don't have any taste? Indians. Right. Okay. I'm going to get an Indian hit list before I finish this show. The reason Africa and the Middle East are so screwed up is because the colonial powers drew borders with zero consideration of ethnic groups and cultures. That's why there's so much conflict. So mixing multiple ethnic groups and cultures causes conflict. What? Oh, no. Yes, Nectar Readers. Tata owns Jaguar, and Tata is an Indian company. Right, moving on. Bob Vylan has had all these concerts for Europe and the USA cancelled. His career is over. Yes. And a tweet from Bob Vylan, circa 2021. I swear I'm going to write a book for all the dumbs and bads that can't help but make terrible business decisions and cry about them later.
Yeah, well, he's been one of the biggest stories of the week.
Yeah.
Because of Glastonbury.
Yeah. Gary Lineker says he knows exactly how Bob Dylan feels.
Well, he would do. I mean, it's well known that Gaza experienced lots of racism for being a different colour when he was a child.
He did. Yeah, Black Gary. Black Gary. We used to have a song for that. Ben used to play it. Right. What you doing? Are you playing with your microphone? Because we can hear it.
No, fidgeting.
Yeah, stop fidgeting. Are you bored? Right, tell us about Bob Vylan. Right, Bob Vylan called for the death of an organization. Okay, yeah.
Well, a military organization. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So Bob Dylan called for the death of a military organization, and people took it to mean that he was calling for the death of a group of people. It's a bit of a stretch. Even for Andrew Neil, surely.
Well, that's the stretch that's always made in this particular case.
Yeah.
Because they always equate one with the other. And actually, I think it's a mark of how disgusting the world is right now that the actions of that particular military organization, which are arguably heinous,
I think you can
is attracting less attention than someone exercising his right to freedom of speech.
Yeah, and this is the problem, because if you're a believer in freedom of speech, then no matter what Bob Vylan says, no matter how vile or off the wall you think it is, he should be entitled to say it.
Well, is he actually hurting anyone? No. Is the organization that he's criticizing hurting people? Yeah.
Yeah. Is he actually inciting people to do anything? No. Not really. No. So, and let's be honest, that organization is on record and on video doing very bad things. Now,
well,
don't get me wrong.
Listen to what
I'm not playing sides in this because none of them eat bacon. I don't give a fuck about them. But Bob Vylan, on this occasion, is being victimized for something that he shouldn't be, which is speaking his mind, or even doing it for clicks and likes. He's still not right to victimize him.
No, but and ultimately he probably knew the hit that he was going to take.
Yeah,
and so standing up for his principles under those circumstances, I think, takes a certain amount of bravery. Certainly compared to all of the other musicians and artists who just stay silent, keep their heads down, and.
Well, you know what? Maybe if you're a musician and artist, maybe you should stay silent and keep your heads down, because you're not a fucking world leader and you don't have any answers unless you're going to donate big troughs of money to people to help.
But what happens? But see, ultimately, singers, artists are a reflection of the society that they live in, and they're allowed. Just like comedians are allowed to parody it. Singers are allowed to sing about it. I mean, what about the anti-war movement? People like Bob Dylan, who this guy's, his name's actually not Bob Vylan. I think it's a.
No, it's not. It's some double
play
barrel.
Bob Dylan.
It's some double.
He's a vegan.
It's got some double barreled name.
Mm-hmm.
He's a posh boy from the suburbs.
But ultimately, I think that it's really rare to see musicians that even seem to have any principles in this day and age.
Well, yeah. Okay, moving on. Glenbourne Opera House abandons the show after the wind turbine failed to keep the lights on. Imagine that. Because there was no wind. Well, there you go.
this is
Shit happens.
this is just like that useless Caledonian ferry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
just typical green nonsense. But what's hilarious is a lot of the people that go to places like Glyndebourne, are all of that kind of eco set. They probably all turned up in EVs.
Yeah. Could you go out and plug your EV into the opera house, please, and we'll see if we can keep the show going. Yeah, fuck off. How am I going to get home? What have these two got in common, you ask? Well, they've both been battled around the ring by a Ukrainian.
Oh, I don't think we can say much more about that one without getting ourselves into trouble.
No, I don't think
that was one of my favourites of the week. That tickled me.
What gets me is how fucking short this shithead.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was as short as he is. So it makes fucking Zelensky a dwarf.
Yeah, but his promo team, they always use like lower angles.
Yeah,
they make videos of him and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
It's probably like, because if you look at Zelensky, he's got this whole sheet that all of the media people are giving out, and there's all sorts of rules about filming Zelensky, and it has to be done in a certain way, and he can't be next to anyone that's taller than him.
Yeah, he does so. Yeah. Oh, Vladimir Putin's war threats are why aliens haven't made first contact, expert claim. Over to you, Ed. Over to you. Explain that.
Well, obviously this is the Daily Star, so one can't. We're not. I mean, most journalists aren't serious people anymore, and the Daily Star are probably some of the least ones. But this one just made me laugh because it's like I don't know. It's like a complex. There's like a mental health. There should be something in the mental health manual about Putin phobia or Putinitis or something. I don't know. But it's just like everything that goes wrong is Putin's fault.
Yeah.
Everything that bad that happens is Putin's fault. And now aliens haven't made first contact because of Putin. And you know, to be honest, if I was an alien, I would be much more worried about Trump than Putin, because Putin, I mean, the worst thing that you can expect from Putin is he'll sit you down and give you a 3-hour lecture about Russian history.
You know what? Whose fault it definitely wasn't? It wasn't Jon Favreau's fault. So this restaurant in Montreal posted a thank you to Jon Favreau for visiting their spot. It really isn't him.
It's not him. I didn't see that one. That's
legend.
Funny.
This legend is just stood there and taking it. That's a classic. That is a classic.
But he probably gets old. I mean, there's a little bit of a resemblance.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not him. Right, I thought this tweet this morning from Sanford Police I thought was quite on point.
That's a brilliant account.
One of our student officers is multilingual. He can say hello in Mandarin. Boom, boom. Try the scam tape. We'll be here all week.
It's running a parody account in 2025 is really difficult.
Dangerous.
Especially when it's the police, and these guys do it really well. There's another one called RAF Luton, I think, that is a parody of an RAF base, which is also brilliant.
After 3 years of gardening club, we have a debrief and chat. Me. And this is obviously a teacher. So children, hands up if anyone has a family at home who does any gardening or likes growing veg. Tommy. My granddad has a garden in the loft. Careful what you show your kids these days. Careful.
And that's actually, I know that.
Yeah, people have been finding.
I know the person who tweeted this, and she is actually a dinner lady in a school, and this was an actual conversation with an actual child. And this particular dinner lady, the child and the grandfather are safe because the dinner lady partakes as well. So
they didn't dob him in.
No.
That's good. That's good to know. Good to know. Right, moving on. If Beauty and the Beast teaches us one thing, it's that looks don't matter as long as you keep her locked up long enough. Now, don't try this at home. Just don't try it at home. People
This
have.
is not recommended behavior.
People
This
have.
is societally unacceptable.
It doesn't work out. You know, it does not work out. Just don't do it at home. Right, moving on. Diversity Free Iceland has ranked the most peaceful nation on earth. Surely not.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I mean,
Suicide
yeah.
rate's through the roof, though. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, that's probably because it's dark for like 3 or 4
so
months
Scotland.
a year.
Well, so Scotland. Come November, we don't see the sun until March. Did you see Did you see any of the videos of the meteorite that blew up over? Right. Do you see the videos? You see how light the horizon is, right? In the videos before the meteorite pops off.
Mm?
It was 1:30 at night, and that's how light it still is.
Mate, I'm just glad I don't live up there with bloody seagulls. I swear to
Yeah,
God, I would top myself.
Yeah.
I really would,
probably would, mate.
because they drive me crazy down here, and we're dark between about 10:30 and about 3:15 ish now. And they still make my life bloody misery. So I feel sorry for anyone whose life is being made a misery by Scottish seagulls.
Oh, we've got some juice in the chat. Ray had police at his house on Monday. What were they there for, Ray? Did they were they having a chat about your social media? Or... Anyway, right, moving on. Tell me later. Phone me. Anyway, moving on. As I said, Alice, I fucking love you, doll. If I was younger, Alice, 24, teacher, right? In Wales, accused of chugging booze, called students little shits and made them dance the Macarena during her health class. So, apparently, restrained and quiet Alice here, whose classes are normally quite boring, was drinking from a bottle of orange that smelled strongly of alcohol. I think there may have been vodka in it. During her health and education class on alcohol abuse. She then got them up dancing and fucking gave one of them the finger. Not literally, but in his face. And I repeat, the student said she gave such and such the finger about 2 to 3 inches from his face. It's some shithole in Wales that I can't pronounce. I don't know if it's a shithole, but I can't pronounce the words because it's Welsh, and the Welsh have this inbuilt ability to disguise everywhere from the English by making their words completely incomprehensible to anyone. So
I'm sure it's done deliberately.
I think they are. I've got to give Alice,
because you can't pronounce. You see a Welsh word or a Welsh name.
But you know what? Alice here didn't shag anyone, because if this had been America, that's what would have happened.
Well, I mean, if the class was on alcohol, at least she's giving them an example of what alcohol abuse looks like.
She got fired apparently, which is a shame.
Well, that you would expect that. I mean, well,
I think she should come and work for me. I think she'd be a joy.
Well, yeah, she does look like fun.
Yeah, she does. Right, moving on. A slice of peach pie is $1.50 in Jamaica and $2 in the Bahamas. These are the pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, God. That's your joke, Ed. That's your joke.
I know, it just made me laugh. I just thought I'd send it because it was silly and fun.
Right, moving on.
I could do it with a slice of Jamaican peach pie right about now, though.
Women's Player of the Year for football. And the comment is a classic. Is that an iron?
I would just like to say that I'm really pleased to see that it's an actual woman winning Women's Player of the Year.
Yeah, well, that's a point. That's a point. Right, we're on the last run now. We've only got 10 or so slides left, which isn't bad. Right. Here's an idea: a reality show where socialist college students are sent to a country that closely resembles their desired political system and left to survive for a few months. I'd buy that for $1, wouldn't you?
I think this is a fabulous idea.
Yeah. I think it is too, mate. I think it is too. Right.
And it would certainly, yeah.
Yeah,
it would change
it would
attitudes.
as they used to say, it would tober them up. That's what it would do. Right.
Yeah.
Control your lust and you'll understand how boring 90% of women are. That's probably true, and someone should have told Jeff Bezos that, I think. Right? And this is the part I don't get. Why do women think they have to do this to themselves? Look at the state of this woman. She's
utterly ruined herself.
Yeah, she has.
I mean, it's just, and it's not, I don't know. It was. I mean, what kind of husband was she like this before he met her, or is he just paid for all of the plastic surgery?
I don't know, but I mean, she looks ridiculous. Why would she do it?
I mean, she's a very attractive lady without all of the nonsense, and now she just looks like one of those plastic freakazoids.
You know what? Everybody gets old. I mean, even me. I know it's hard for you to understand that, but yeah, even I get old. But just fucking get old, you know?
Well, there is such a thing as growing old gracefully.
Yeah. I'd prefer to do it disgracefully, but you don't need to get plastic surgery. Speaking of plastic surgery.
Exactly.
This is what happens when the cheese in the Big Mac don't melt.
Oh yeah, that's so. I mean, what even is that? It looks like it's splitting open as we watch.
No, I think that's what it's meant to be like. But bloody hell, you know what? That's some industrial grade plastic right there, mate. That is industrial grade.
That's some industrial grade fried chicken by the look of it too.
Right, let's move on from that. It's making me sick. Anyway.
Yeah, cheers for that.
My car is making... Well, it should put you off your pie. My car is making a horrible noise, ma'am. That's just Iona Fife on the radio. You might have to be Scottish to get this, but Iona Fife is not a good singer. She thinks she is. Got a nose like a Nimrod bomber, but...
I feel very fortunate that my ears have never been subjected to her.
Right, this next one is a cracker. Okay, Houston man stole designer glasses from Neiman Marcus at Galleria Mall. Posted on social media instead when the cops arrived, he fled, jumped from the second floor onto the ice rink, and broke both his legs.
That is karma. That is.
You know what? He didn't. I mean, they fucking didn't half break them because the person filming this, you can hear her saying, his ankle just came off. I was on a ski lift once and a guy come down the ski slope below me on a snowboard and he did this jump and landed badly. And he rolled and he landed really badly, rolled, came to a halt, sitting, holding his arm. And his mate goes, "You all right?" And I could hear this from the chairlift, and I'm looking down, and he goes, "Dude, I broke my arm." His fucking arm was poking out of his jacket. It was gross.
This is why I don't go either ice skating or skiing.
Oh, I love skiing. Right.
Absolutely mental.
I love it. It's fast. I like fast stuff. Right, but my wife's not so keen on it. But anyway, moving on.
I like fast stuff, but I like being in a machine.
Ooh. Right, fancy getting a voluntary job looking after horses so you can sexually abuse them. Then when you're caught, charged, naked, and pictured, Awful shit follows this deviant grifter. What a twat. So, Corey Coleman was a regular volunteer at the Liberty Yard and was well known to the staff. He was filmed abusing the horses. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. I don't even know how you do that.
What? I mean,
my wife used to have a horse when we had money. Not anymore. We don't have money anymore. But when we had money, she had a horse, and like they're big beasts. Why would you even think? I mean, there's nothing attractive about horses, and they smell. Oh, it's just wrong.
Some people are just beyond disgusting.
Yeah, they are. They are, mate. And these deviants are just nuts. So, speaking of disgusting, what's your sexual fantasy that will remain a fantasy? Some of the answers are quite interesting. I want to fuck an elf. What? What about fucking a friend? I could do that. But yeah, no, I mean...
Oh, dear.
Some questions just shouldn't be answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, not this. Oh, Dave says you don't want to know about the tractor. And I've seen people with cars in the street, certain groups of people, but yeah, it's just not right. Michelle Obama says she and Barack don't spend much time together these days because they're both over 60. What the fuck does that even mean? And the reply, she has erectile dysfunction. No, we don't mean anything by that. Honestly, Michelle. It's okay. It's just a joke. No, I'm not. I don't want to come and go paddle boarding. I'm not going paddle boarding with you. No.
Oh dear.
Racket, ma'am.
What?
How long's it going to take?
Oh yeah, no, I get it. No,
you got it.
took
You got
a couple
it.
of
It didn't
seconds.
take that long. Well done.
Yeah, Racket Man.
Oh, Nectaridus, that's not a good thing to say. I hope you didn't partake yourself. The next one's a cracker. It's an absolute cracker, as they say. So Rod Stewart, fuck's sake. Rod Stewart's looking well.
Oh, that's funny.
That is quite funny. Right, hold on. I've got a couple of things on the pile of stuff that doesn't have pictures. Let's have a look. Oh, I need to start my browser because it was using too many resources, so I shut it earlier. Somebody said I should have shut myself instead. Right, where is it? Open up browser. Come to me. Bear with me. It won't take long, people. You don't need to flee away yet.
They're probably fleeing because it's 5 to 11.
Well, we're just about finished. We've only got one slide left.
We've done well considering there's 81 slides.
Yeah. Oh, good grief. I'm hoping to put my what do you call it? Thing about the Glasgow airport terrorist attack out tomorrow. So I'm hoping you'll find that quite interesting. That'll be on Sergeant Grumpy, and I'll be putting out a review of Rogue One on Snacky Cinema over the weekend, I think. Right, what have we got this week? Bear becomes interior designer. A bear in Colorado managed to trap itself inside a parked car and completely demolish the interior of it. When I say completely. A truck crash on a stretch of interstate turned into an impromptu cheese festival when boxes of mozzarella cheese were scattered entirely across the highway. What else we got? T-Rex Racing Championship. The T-Rex World Championship races took place, featuring contestants dashing for the finishing line while dressed as inflatable dinosaurs. Apparently nothing says athletic competition quite like running in an inflatable dinosaur costume. Oh, here's it. A doctors in Scotland has been forced to plead with local residents to stop bringing in appropriate or unsolicited urine samples. The clinic's desperate request suggests this has become a surprisingly common problem requiring official intervention. The patients in this case are literally taking the piss to the doctors. 40, and this isn't that funny. 47,000 Norwegians were mistakenly informed they'd won a much larger lottery prize than they actually did. The national lottery operator had to apologise after what must have been thousands of very disappointed phone calls. Well, 47,000, I would have said. What else we got? Siberian Jesus gets 12 years. Sergei Toropop, a former traffic cop, can't be that bad a guy, surely, who claimed to be the reincarnation of Jesus Christ and called himself Vissarion, was sentenced to 12 years in prison for exploiting his followers. The self-proclaimed Siberian Jesus was convicted of using psychological manipulation to control followers for labour and money. Hold on. Isn't that what David Icke does? Right, more lottery stuff. A Kentucky woman used the numbers from inside a fortune cookie. You know, there would be numbers printed on the label to play the lottery and won $50,000. A Massachusetts man used the serial number from his work elevator to win $300,000 in the lottery. Fucking bizarre. Why did they even think about doing that? The first Robo League robot soccer tournament took place in China, featuring AI-powered teams of robots competing in 3-on-3 matches. Yeah, that went well. And a Chinese man known as the Card Architect broke 4 Guinness World Records in a matter of days, including stacking 3,000... this actually beggars belief. 3,149 Jenga blocks on a single vertically placed block. That is serious stacking skills. It really is. Mm-hmm. So anyway, there you go. They're not that funny. Although monsters do actually exist. Babysitter in Kansas went to check underneath her child's bed after the girl kept complaining there was a monster under the bed. And when she looked under the bed, she came face to face with 27-year-old Martin Villabos Jr. hiding under the bed. As they say, an altercation then arose between the babysitter and Villabos, who then made his escape. The police were unable to find them that night, but found them the next day, suspiciously close to the house. Again. Fucking nutters. So monsters do sometimes exist under the bed. Right. Anything else? Have you got anything, Ned?
Nope. No, not that we haven't covered.
Well, I think we've done all right at 2 hours. So there we go. Last slide. Reminder that if migrants sneaking across our border looked like this, liberal women would form SS units overnight.
It's probably true.
I think it's a definite, mate. I think that's a given.
But they would only be outnumbered by the hordes of men waiting at the beach.
Yeah, they would. You're right. So, there you go.
Fun.
I think that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed this evening
I have.
stream. Well, I'm looking for something to change the... Why can I not see it?
I don't know.
Oh,
but it has been a fun show.
Yeah,
it's always cathartic.
Indeed it is. Well, anyway, what I'll do is I will quickly switch over to the outro for you, because we always end all in on an outro. So
we have to have the outro, or the show doesn't end properly.
I'll send it. It's been great for you.
The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday.
It's Friday night and we're all in.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know